Hello there, fifth graders, and welcome to your next history lesson. Today's history lesson is called The Declaration of Independence. Writing the Declaration. In June of 1776, Richard Henry Lee of Virginia told the Second Continental Congress, "These united colonies are, and of a right ought to be, free and independent states." The Congress nominated 5 members to outline the colony's reasons for wanting independence from Great Britain. The members of the committee were John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Robert Livingston, Roger Sherman, and Thomas Jefferson. The committee chose Thomas Jefferson to write the first draft. He wrote for 2 weeks. Then Franklin and Adams made minor changes before presenting the Declaration to the full Congress on June 28, 1776. The other members of the Congress argued about the wording of the document. One of the most controversial issues was language Thomas Jefferson had included about the evils of slavery. Representatives from the southern colonies, whose economies depended on slavery, wanted that language removed. Jefferson ultimately agreed to take the section out, and the southern members gave their approval, leading to Congress's voting in favor of the Declaration of Independence. Signing the Declaration. After 2 days of debating the details of the Declaration of Independence, the members passed the final version on July 4th, 1776. On August 2nd, the members began to sign the Declaration. John Hancock, the president of the Congress, signed first. The rest of the 56 members signed beneath his signature. Each man knew he was risking his life and his property by putting his name on the Declaration. However, they believed so strongly in independence that they took the risk. Their only hope was that the colonists' Continental Army would be strong enough to beat the British. The following information comes from an essay called The Price They Paid, which has been widely circulated on the internet. The essay was later fact-checked by Snopes.com and a USA Today article and labeled as partly false. The information I include below all comes from parts of the essay that were confirmed as true by the article. It's also worth mentioning that one of the reasons they gave for labeling it partly false is that what the signers of the Declaration of Independence suffered during the war wasn't a result of them being targeted as signers, but was rather a result of the war in general. I think this is somewhat misleading, because even if the following things the signers suffered were the result of the war in general, rather than a direct result of them being targeted for signing, it's still true that the war wouldn't have happened if we wouldn't have declared ourselves free from Great Britain in the first place. They still signed the Declaration of Independence knowing that they would have to sacrifice a great deal if a war with Great Britain took place, and then they did have to sacrifice a great deal because a war with Great Britain did take place. Here's a list of some of the things that they did have to sacrifice. These are the times that try men's souls. Thomas Paine, the writer of pamphlets, wrote, "These are the times that try men's souls." He also wrote, "The harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph." In another place he wrote, "The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will shrink from the service of his country." What does that mean, the summer soldier or the sunshine patriot? Both of those terms refer to people who say they want to fight for a cause or say they want to serve their country, but they actually only want to do it when things are nice, when things are good, when things are easy. But as soon as things get hard, they don't want to make sacrifices because they're soft, so they won't actually do the work or do the actual fighting when it gets hard. The signers of the Constitution were not sunshine patriots. They were not summer soldiers. Many of them suffered greatly because of the risk that they took when they signed. 5 of the signers were captured by the British. 12 of them had their homes ransacked and burned. One of the signers lost his son in battle. One of them had 2 of his sons captured by the British. 9 of the signers fought and died either from their wounds in battle or from other war-related hardships. Carter Braxton had his ships swept from the seas by British warships and was reduced to poverty. Tom McKean was hounded by the British so much that he was forced to move his family constantly and keep them in hiding. Francis Lewis had his home and property destroyed by British forces who captured his wife. She died shortly after returning home as a result of mistreatment she suffered while she was a prisoner. John Hart was driven from his home and was forced to live in forests and caves. After finally coming back to his house, he found his wife had died and his 13 children had all vanished. He died a short time later, exhausted and heartbroken. Why do you think the signers of the Constitution were willing to risk and suffer so much in order to gain independence? And then here is the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence in Congress, July 4th, 1776. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. And you know what? I think I'll actually record this on a separate video and attach it below. I will catch you next time. Signing off.